Hi there! In this video, I'm going to show you how to install WordPress on your own web host. For this, we're going to log for the first time into your web host and then we're going to do the installation. Before you begin, make sure that you have a text editor and an FTP client installed in your computer. Let's log in into the web host. You have to reset your password. You have to write down your username, type down your username, and click in Reset Password. You need to type down your student email address, and you're going to request that a security code is sent to your email. You have to go and check your school email, but sometimes this email is going to take a little while to arrive, so be patient. When it arrives, you have to copy that security code that is in the email. And then you're going to type it in the cPanel and you're going to click in Submit. After you do that, you will be able to create a new password for your account. Make sure that you have a password that is very secure, combining different characters, numbers, letters. You set up your password, and now you can log in for the first time in your cPanel. Make sure you write down that password, is really important, so please don't forget it. So I'm in, and this is my cPanel. Great. Now we can continue with the second part of the tutorial. I'm going to follow the instructions that are in the following address in WordPress.org. So here are the instructions on how to install WordPress. We're going to follow the basic instructions. So let's concentrate in number 1. You need to download and unzip the WordPress package. So we are going to go to wordpress.org. And here in the top right corner, there's a button that we click, and now we can download the package. While we download the package, we can continue with the rest of the installation. So let's go to step number 2. We need to create a database and a user for this database, and this user has to have all the privileges. So we go back to our cPanel, we click in MySQL databases, and we will create a new database. I chose a really simple name, DB1, and I click in Create Database. It's good. Now I have to go back. I will go back to the same page. If I scroll down, I will be able to create a new user. So I'm just going to name it user1. I need to create a password for this user. So create a password for this user. Make sure that it's very strong as always. And now we click in Create User. We have to go back once again because now we need to link our user to the database, and we have to give all the privileges to this user. So we add it, and now we click in All Privileges and we save the changes. Great, we have done this part, so we can continue with the next part of the tutorial. We need to edit one of the files that is part of the package that we just downloaded. So we will unzip the file we just downloaded. I will delete that file since I already unzipped it, and let's check what's the name of the file we're looking for. Is wp-config-sample.php, and here are the instructions on what we need to do with it. So we need to change the information of the database name, the username, and password. Let's look for the file that we need, config sample.php. I'm going to open it in my text editor in Sublime. It's there. So I'm going to change the name of the database, and I'm going to put the name of the database that I just created. So I'm going to copy and paste it. Make sure that when you paste it, you don't delete anything, not the apostrophes or the commas or anything. Now I'm going to change the name of the user. I copy the name of my user and I replace it. And now I can type the password. Now, the name of the host that can stay as localhost. Don't worry about it. Let's check. We have done everything so far. You will see that there are more detailed instructions if you need them. So if you scroll down, you will see more things, more explanations if you need it. But now what I want to do is to change the security codes. So I'm trying to find them. I'm going to scroll until I find this. Here are the security keys. They are very important because they are going to ensure that it's really hard to attack our website. So let's see. Here's where I can replace them in my file. And there is an online generator. So I click and I will have new keys. Of course you want unique keys. You don't want any intruder to copy them. So copy all your just generated keys and paste them in your PHP file. Once again, make sure that you don't delete more than you have to, or that you don't add any extra comma or hyphen or anything like this. So great, we have our security keys. If you keep scrolling down, you will see that there are other things that you could change to this file, to this configuration file, but we are not going to do it. We already changed the most two important things. Now I'm going to save it and I'm going to change the name. I'm going to delete the word sample and the hyphen. So I saved it as, and now I can go and delete the sample. I don't need the sample anymore, just the one that I created. Great, let's continue with the instructions. Now we are ready to upload our WordPress files to our server. We're going to do it by using the FTP Client, FileZilla. So here it is. We need to type the host, the address of the host. You will have to type your username, not the username of the database, but the one that you use to access your host, and the password. Those two things you use to log in into the cPanel, and now you connect. FileZilla is asking me if I want them to save the passwords for me, and I'm going to say yes this time, so I don't need to type this all over. It's showing me a certificate of security. It's asking me if I trust that server that I'm trying to connect. And yes, I trust this server. It's provided by BUA's ICT department, so it's fine. And now let's check the instructions again to see where do we need to include these files. And since we don't want to use a subdirectory, we're going to install them in the root folder. Do you know what's the root folder when you are creating a website? It's usually a folder that is called public HTML. Public, what's the name of that one? Hyphen? Underscore HTML. So we open that folder, we select all the files that were inside that folder that we unzipped. Make sure it's all of them. We cannot leave anything left out. And we drag them. I release. And as you will see, they are being copied. It takes a little while. And you can see the status. You can see what's going on. And it's finished. And in the top, we can see that it was successful. So this is great. Let's go back to our instructions. We can do the last step, that is running the installation script. So we need to go to our website. The name of my website is the name of my user .pr4.imem.nl. The beginning of your address will be different, will be WP followed by your student number. So your username. There is the installation. Please install it in English. It can be from the UK or the States, doesn't matter, but it has to be in English. So you can give a title to your site. You have to create a first user of your site. Every time that I create a website for the first time, my first user is always the admin. That's what I do. That's my normal practice. So I suggest that you also create an admin. Make a strong password. I'm not the best example here. I went for a medium security password. I don't want the engine to be able, the search engines, to check my website because it's just for education. So we are successful. The website has been created. The WordPress is going to be open for the first time. So let's log in with those details that we just created. And this is the dashboard of WordPress. Congratulations! I hope this was useful for you. See you in class.